Warning, the following commentary contains shenanigans of the likes of which you've never seen. Some viewers may find this offensive. What's up everyone, I'm DrMuchLove, and yes, I've returned from being sick as fucking 15 ill poochy dogs. I don't fucking know. And it is Storytime episode 4 today, ladies and gents. Well, probably mostly gents because, I mean, come on, let's just face it. Anyway, let's skip straight right into this bitch. So yeah, this episode I guess I'll be discussing my first ever employment and then my second job also. And just some more shenanigans that are involved in my life. So to begin with, we shall talk about my first job. Now, it was at a bakery. The bakery's called Baker's Delight. I don't know, one of those fucking things. And at the time, I was a full-time baker, literally. And if you don't understand what I mean, well, let me explain it for you. I was going to work and baking bread, like a boss. And then as soon as I'd knock off work, I'd go and get baked. Hence the full-time baker role, which I was just talking about. So yes, I was a full-time baker, and I worked there for like a couple of months, 3-4 months, and I'm getting fired from there, funnily enough, because I was smoking spliffs every night, going to bed and waking up, going to work as dull and docile as a pit full of baby kittens, little cute kittens that are very docile and dumb. That was me. Call me Kitten Man, because I was really docile. And anyway, so I got fired from there, and then a few months later, one of my mates that got me the job actually got fired too because he had a thing for cheap wine. We call it goon over here. I believe a goon over in America is like a tough ass dude that'll beat your ass down, but whatever. Yeah, I'm moving to my second job. Now, I worked at this shithole called Flip Burgers. It wasn't that great. I was getting heavily underpaid. I have a feeling that the owner was in some sort of mafia-related businesses because he was just way too crooked. He was like the George Bush of frying pans and shit. I don't know. And so I was getting paid pretty well there. Jokes, like $4.50 an hour or some shit. So basically I told him to lick my hairy testicles and I headed on my way, hit the old dusty trail. And those are just basically my first 2 jobs. I know, pretty fucking exciting, right? So let's just move on to my pizza box shenanigans story. Now, there was a time down here where Pizza Hut would sell some big ass pizza box deal where it would just be a giant box, not a normal shaped pizza box. Like I'm talking like you could carry 10 cartons of milk in this bitch. Like that, it was really big. It was real big. And I basically put that on my head and walked into the local gas station, only to be swore at and they also yelled at me and said they were going to call the police. So I giggled at him like a little schoolgirl and I headed on my way. And obviously what would be the next step to do but visit one of my good old friends and knock on his door. So basically I stripped down to nothing but my boxer shorts, you know, and walked up his steps and knocked on his door. It was obviously very hesitant because it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and he opened the door and he just looked at me. He thought I was some kind of crackhead with a pizza box on my head. I started to try to force my way into the door, and by that point I do believe he had soiled himself. If there was an instant slow-mo replay on the back of his trousers, I'm pretty sure it would have gone from an anorexic model to that motherfucker who did that Super Size Me movie. So, you know, skinny to fat as fuck. And it was pretty funny because then he tried calling my best friend to help him out, saying there was some crazy guy there, but that dude is my best friend and he was standing right next to me. So we had a good old laugh at him, and basically we ended up saying, yo dude, it's just us, let us in. And he let us in, and it was pretty fantastic. You know, I got to watch my friend soil himself, and I was rather drunk. Okay, so this brings me down to a couple more stories left, and I have the Who Is That Guy High. Now that's just what I've named it on my little pad here. One time when I was really baked at one of my friend's house, there was like a window. I don't know, this room must have been added on or some shit, but there was a window like it would go to outside. Except, what was actually going on is, there was another room there. So I'm sitting on the couch, being a baked piece of shit, and I hear knocking on the window. And I turn around, and the blinds get opened, and it's him going, and he's pointing at me. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on? So I repeated to say to all of my friends, who is that guy? who is that guy? Help! Who is that guy? Like that, and that's basically one of the best quotes of my life. Who is that guy? Because I don't know, I was really blazing. It was pretty epic at the time. It turned out to be one of my friend's little brothers, and because the room was there and all that shit, that's basically how it went. So yeah. Now let's move on to the final story of this episode. Story, bitches, shit, motherfucking titty lick, titty twist. The day that I met Dustin Dolan. Now, he's a professional skater. If you don't know who he is, look him up. Anyway, on this day, we're actually going to buy some weed as well. This is... Wow, I sound like the biggest pothead right now. But, yeah, we're going to buy some weed, and basically, we got there, and it was up this big-ass hill. Actually, it was near my friend where I did the pizza box trick, very, very closely to him. And we got it, and then and this hill's fucking huge. Mind you, it's like Mount Everest of hills to skate down, and and the trucks on my skateboard, I like to roll them as loose as an Asian hooker's minge, and so I was definitely in for trouble, but I totally forgot how loose my trucks were. So here I go from the top of the fucking hill, speeding down it. I reckon I reached speeds of Mach 10 at least, and anyway, so I was actually going like probably 50 or 60 k's, and by the end my board started shaking. I was getting death wobbles, and I realized that, well, either I'm gonna have to try and ride this out or run it out, and that's when I proceeded to try to run it out. And a matter of fact, I did really well in this. Jokes. I actually put one foot down, and then lost all balance and control, and pretty much fucking slid on the whole left side of my body, and then flipped over onto my back. Luckily, I was wearing my bag, and then I slid on my back for like the whole length of a house. And that's a good, I don't know, like 8-10 meters or some shit. So yeah, and I was wearing board shorts at the time, so you got to think like my knees were all fucked up. I had this crazy ass gravel burn down the side of my hip, and I was thinking maybe I should go to the hospital. And I really didn't go to the hospital. I actually went to the skate park and met Dustin Dolan, and it was pretty cool. And then I just got real baked, and I forgot about it. And then a couple of weeks later, I realized I probably should go to the hospital, and it turns out it was a good idea because I nearly got a staph infection. Well, I basically did. So, you know, if it wasn't for my one smart decision to go to the hospital, I'd probably have one leg right now. I'd be like a stumpy old man walking down the street asking little kids if they want some candy. You know, that kind of fucked up shit. Anyway, we've reached the end of another episode of Storytime. You know this has been. Peace out. Much love.